In 18 American Continental Chess Championship 2025 Round 5, Bachmann steers the game into a well-known Hungarian opening symmetrical variation, testing Coro's preparation. On G3. On G6. Bishop G2. Bishop G7. On D4. Knight F6. On E4. On D6. Knight C3. Knight C6. Knight Ge2. On E5. On takes E5. On takes E5. Bishop E3. Bishop E6. Knight D5. King castled kingside. King castled kingside. Rook E8. Bishop G5. Bishop takes D5. On takes D5. Knight E7. It is novelty move. On C4. On H6. Threatening pawn takes G5. Bishop D2 played by Bachmann. Knight F5. Rook E1. Knight D7. Rook C1. Knight C5. On B4. Threatening pawn takes C5. Knight D3 played by Coro. Coro is preparing to play. On E4. Knight C3. Knight takes E1 and dominate the board. Bishop G5 played by Bachmann. Threatening bishop takes D8. Queen takes G5 played by Coro. Queen takes D3. On A5. Threatening pawn takes B4. On A3 played by Bachmann. On takes B4. On takes B4. Knight D6. On C5. Threatening pawn takes D6. On E4 played by Coro. Threatening pawn takes D3. Queen C2 played by Bachmann. Threatening pawn takes D6. Knight F5 played by Coro. Bishop takes E4. Knight E3. Coro's idea is to play. Knight takes C2. On C6. On takes C6. Bishop takes C2. Queen takes D5. On H3. Queen D6 and dominate the board. Queen D3 played by Bachmann. Threatening pawn takes E3. Knight G4 played by Coro. On H3. Threatening pawn takes G4. Knight E5 played by Coro. Threatening knight takes D3. Queen B3 played by Bachmann. Bachmann is preparing to play. On F4. Queen D8. On takes E5 and secure a strong hold in the game. Queen D2 played by Coro. Rook CD1. Threatening rook takes D2. Queen A2 played by Coro. Threatening queen takes B3. Queen takes A2 played by Bachmann. Rook takes A to stop here and find the strongest move for Bachmann. Knight C3 is logical continuation as Rook B2. Knight B5. Rook A8. Knight takes C7. Rook A2. On D6 Bachmann have small advantage. Let's proceed to the main line. Rook takes A2. On D6 is not the best move played by Bachmann. Threatening pawn takes C7. Pawn takes d6 played by Coro. Pawn takes d6. Rook b2. Knight f4. Rook takes b4. Knight d5. Threatening knight takes b4. Rook b2 played by Coro. Bishop g2. Rook d8. Pawn f4. Threatening pawn takes e5. Knight d7 played by Coro. Pawn f5. Pawn g5. Rook b1. Bachmann considers playing. Pawn f6. Rook takes g2 check. King takes g2 and secure a strong hold in the game. Knight b6 played by Coro. Pawn f6 take a moment to spot the best move for Coro. Rook takes g2 check is the correct move because King takes g2. Knight takes d5. Pawn takes g7. Rook takes d6. King h2. Rook d7 position is equal shifting to the main variation. Pawn f6. Bachmann is planning to play Knight e7 check. King h8. Pawn takes g7 check and secure a strong hold in the game. Rook takes b1 creates serious weaknesses in the position. Played by Coro. Knight e7 check victory for Bachmann after a hard-fought battle. Coro resigned, conceding the game.